So I'm joined by Kevin Egan here from Midlands 103 and the Westmeath Indo at the Athlone Town Stadium. Longford Town have just won the El Clasico de Midlands by a goal to nil. Sam Burden with a second half strike to give Longford all 3 points. Kevin, thoughts on that game?
Well, first of all, I refuse to accept this El Clasico nonsense. I don't buy into it in the slightest. No, if I was to reflect on the game, enjoyable encounter. Two teams went out to play good football. I'd say both defences very, very much on top. Very impressed with the centre backs, Conor, Kenna, whichever way you pronounce it, and Kieran Burke for Athlone. I thought the two of them made some excellent interventions. You know, just when it boiled down to it, ultimately Athlone didn't test Lee Stacey enough as far as I'm concerned. We had a penalty shout at both ends, but realistically when it boils down to it, Aaron Miles made one good save. Longford created that few more chances, that a little bit more penetration. If it was 0-0, you wouldn't have said it was an injustice. Equally, if you'd said 1-0 Longford, probably isn't an injustice either. The truth was somewhere in between the two, I'd imagine. Was
it fitting that the goal, it was quite a scrappy one? It was a game of real attrition. Maybe not the best quality at times, but it was a game you couldn't take your eyes off. It was excellent entertainment here tonight in the Midlands, and it was a scrappy goal to win it. It was probably fitting on the night, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was scrappy, but for me what was key was that the whole way through the night, Peter Hopkins and Shane Elworthy up the right, they were causing Athlone problems. I mean, Dean Casey had left back for Athlone. He's brilliant going forward, but you know, he needs that little bit of extra cover as a result. And the whole night I felt Elworthy was the one getting in some excellent deliveries. And ultimately, when it boiled down to it, like if you put it in along that channel, up along the 6-yard line, just too far in front for the keeper to come out, you're always going to create real problems. This particular one, it went just a little bit too high for the Athlone defence. Broke perfectly for Verdon. He put himself in the right position. Sure, it won't make any highlight reels. They had a great chance to do it. Soccer Republic were down here tonight. They all could have made headlines. But look, ultimately, it was a good play the percentages goal, is the way I'd see it.
Some people are saying that maybe a draw would have been a fair result on the night. You have to give Longford credit for going and getting that goal, and Athlone threw everything at them in the final stages, and only for a miraculous tackle by Conor Kenna in the dying stages, then maybe it would have been a draw on the night. A couple of controversial decisions as well. Neil Doyle definitely didn't have his best night. So overall, was it a fair result, or do you think Athlone will be really disappointed to come away without something from this one?
Oh, obviously they'll be disappointed, it goes without saying. I mean, what I would say is that if there was going to be a winner, it was fair that Longford won it. If you, like I said, if you told me it was 0-0, I could live with 0-0 as being fair enough. Longford, to me, they showed that little bit more ambition. They showed that little bit more creativity. They had a little bit more physical presence as well. I mean, there's no getting away from the fact that Athlone don't have a kind of a direct ball option. They brought on Evan Pearce, all right. He's struggling for form since signing a few weeks ago.
It was Pearce that almost got that shot away in the last couple of seconds, only for Kenna to get the tackle in. So as you said, maybe he was a little bit sharper, a little bit more match practice, he would have been able to get that shot away just that bit quicker.
Absolutely. Well, like, I mean, Dean Williams has come down here and he's been absolutely on fire.
Were you surprised that Terry opted to take Williams off?
Well, look, what I would always say with stuff like that is I can only assume Terry knows what the guys have in them in terms of the miles covered and so on over the course of the game. So he might know that, okay, Dean, you know, I'm not saying that they have the monitors on them or anything like that. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't actually know. But he might realise that, okay, there was 64 minutes gone when it happened. Maybe at that stage he felt, okay, need a change of pace. Or maybe just like that, needed a little bit of physical presence. Because it's not just that Dean is very, very small up front, but your three-man line behind him of Simon, Meenan and Keelan Dillon, like there's no physical presence there either. They're strong guys on the ball when it's down at their feet, but there's nobody who's going to get on the end of a header there. So he probably felt he needed that extra option or something like that. Look, there's no two ways about it. Evan Pearce hasn't really found his form since he's come in so far. He's just at that little bit lacking in sharpness. If that chance had fallen to Dean Williams, we definitely would have been looking at a different result. But look, that's what you have to do. You take your chances, you try and change things up, you do what you can, and it just didn't work out for them on this occasion.
Yeah, look, certainly not a lot between them on the night. A bounce of the ball, a rub of the green, a couple of decisions maybe either way. It could have gone either way, but one thing we can say, it was an absolutely fantastic advert for First Division football and for this derby, the Midlands El Clasico. Let's talk about the other results from the night, because especially in the First Division it was absolutely crazy. At one stage Athlone were on top of the table, but we're ending the night with Shelbourne on top despite going down 2-1 at St Comas Park.
Yeah, that's an amazing result. I mean, because Cove have really struggled so far this season. I mean, let's be truthful about it. Cove were struggling through the bulk of last season as well. What happened in the EA Sports Cup kind of covered for that a fair bit. But, you know, they haven't been impressive so far. This obviously could completely ignite their season. Now, in saying that, I mean, Shells came here, and being honest with you, like Shells took 3 points from here in Athlone, and to me they weren't as impressive as Longford were tonight. I thought the Shells definitely got every bit of the rub of the green that particular night. There was the red card, there was a few other things happened then. There was a clear shout for a penalty for Athlone, should have been in that game as well, much clearer than the incidents we had tonight. So for me, Shells, yeah, there's no question. You look at their panel on paper, they're extremely strong, but they haven't put it down on the field so far, and I've no doubt Longford will be really looking forward to that game next week, because to me they're there for the taking. But that absolutely will bring Cove right back into it, because a couple more results and teams will start to feel like, okay, the season's getting away from them. That'll completely energise Cove Ramblers now.
Let's talk about the shock of the night. Wexford FC 2, Bray Wanderers 0. There was talk in some quarters that Wexford might win a game this season. They've gone and beaten one of the playoff favourites. Yeah,
that's incredible. Now, having said that, like, Wexford have some talented footballers. There's no question. I think it's fair to say they're probably still the most likely team to finish 8th. But having said that, or 10th, I should say. But having said that, I mean, they have some talented players. They have some players capable of individual moments. So without having seen the goals, I can only assume something like that happened tonight. That being said, yeah, that's a hugely disappointing result for Bray. And maybe now Bray are in a little bit of a slump as well. Look, you have 10 teams in the league. At this stage, you probably have 8 or 9 of them saying, this is wide open for us. This is here to be taken this season. I mean, as you said, Athlone were top of the table midway through. And the way I was looking at that, thinking to myself, Athlone have played 5 league games so far this season. In the first one, if it had finished 0-0 here, they'd have been top of the table, despite the fact that in the last 4 of those 5, they'd have scored 2 goals. So, what do you think?
It truly is an unpredictable division this year. Let's just touch briefly on the final couple of results, because I think the folks are looking to lock up the stadium here and toss us out, especially after that result. But I think I'm right in saying Drogheda have come out 1-0 away to Galway. Yeah,
Drogheda have come out 1-0 away to Galway. For me, I actually expected Galway to be a lot better this season. I mean, I know that unlike, say, Bray and Shells, they didn't go out paying big money or anything like that. But the difference when you're on the Western Seaboard is that for players that maybe aren't being offered big money, they'd still, if they want to play a League of Ireland, well, they'll still get, like, Galway are still picking the best of what's in Galway, what's in Mayo.
Plus they've brought back Vinny Faraday and Iarla Davin, 2 greatly experienced players, and in Faraday you're looking at a lot of clubs in the first division, and maybe Kilduff aside, you're looking and saying who's going to be their big goal getter, their consistent goal getter, and Faraday is one you'd certainly point to.
Yeah, well, I would wonder if they're going to try and get 90 minutes out of Faraday too often this season. But having said that, even if he's only on the field for 20-25 minutes, you'd still back him to get a goal, no question. So absolutely, for me, there's talent in that Galway side, and I can't quite understand what's been happening so far, because again, they too came down here now. It was an even game in the EA Sports Cup, obviously pretty much second string teams and so on, so I wouldn't judge too much by it. But Galway had a nice little bit of depth, they had a nice bit of pace about them. The players that wouldn't even be starting looked quite impressive. So that for me is a huge surprise. Now again, look, there's no doubt Drogheda are a capable side. There are 2 teams that both would say we can still be well in the mix this year, no question about it. But having said that, am I surprised that Galway are down? And I think it's 4 points at this stage. That's a big shock for me now.
Have we covered all the results there in the first division? In
the first division, you've covered all 4 at this stage, because obviously Cabinteely and Limerick is tomorrow.
Yeah, correct. So finally, then Shamrock Rovers coming out against Finn Harps, but it was a lot tighter than people expected.
Yeah, I'm not sure what people expected, but yeah, obviously when you've a 1-0, a winner in the 85th minute from Greg Bulger, yeah, that's a very, very tight encounter. I mean, look, Shamrock Rovers, they've got a little bit of luck that let's say their own supporters would argue they haven't got in the last couple of years. They've made the fast start now. They've put themselves up on top of the table, so they're not chasing the big guys. Be interesting to see where they push on, because now the pressure starts to come on from here. That suddenly now they have to try and back up what they've done so far.
But as you said, they've got that points cushion now, and you'd rather be with that than chasing it.
Absolutely. And there's no doubt that there'll be a lot of teams will go to Ballybuffet and will drop points. Good sides will go up there and they'll drop points, because, I mean, it's aside from the logistics of travelling, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to get on a bus from Waterford or Cork City to go up to Ballybuffet. But having said that, like, I mean, they are talented footballers as well. They have a strong home following. They have a great atmosphere up there in Finn Park. They will take points off teams. So that's a huge result for Shamrock Rovers tonight. And as you say, it gets the points on the board, keeps the momentum going, keeps the pressure on the likes of Dundalk and Cork. So they're in a great position.
I'm not going to finish by asking you for a First Division title winner prediction, because it's totally ridiculous at this stage of the season. We just cannot tell what's going to happen from week to week. But in the Premier, where things are looking a little bit more settled, who do you fancy in that title race? And do you think it is a two-horse race between Shamrock Rovers and Dundalk?
I'd be slow to completely dismiss Cork City, but having said that, there's no doubt that you look at their personnel, doesn't look to be as strong this year. There's no two ways about it. I would still expect. Look, I come from a bookmaking background. You know, I trust what I've seen before. You know, for me, I don't think Shamrock Rovers have yet proved that they're entitled to be favourites over Dundalk or anything like it. I still think you look at the actual panels, I still wouldn't swap the Shamrock Rovers for what there is up in Dundalk. Having said that, you know, it looks right now, if you were to rank them in order, I would say Dundalk favourites, Shamrock Rovers second. Cork City can't be ruled out, but they have a huge amount of ground to make up and probably will need to strengthen.
Kevin, thanks for joining us on Between the Stripes TV.
I'm here at Cabinteely defender and goal scorer of today, Conor Keeley, after today's 2-1 defeat against Limerick. Conor, disappointing enough result?
Yeah, massively disappointed. I thought, you know, the game could have went either way. I thought Limerick were very good in the first half, put us under a lot of pressure, and we were lucky to win 1-0 at the time. You know, again, the game could have went either way. We had a penalty, we had a few more chances there as well, but ultimately our own mistakes have cost us 3 points today. Yeah,
and obviously you scored. Is that maybe one positive that you can take from today? Obviously, I know you're a goal scorer and centre back. You like getting your head in the ball. Is that maybe pleasing in that aspect?
Yeah, it's always nice to get a goal, but to me it means nothing today. Like, I mean, the main thing is the 3 points, and you know, we're lucky enough to get them.
Yeah, and obviously maybe looking at the start of the season, obviously there's a bit of a disappointment today and against Bray, but apart from that, you've been very, very impressive for such a young side. Do you think maybe a defeat like this maybe takes the gloss off the hard work you put in the last few weeks?
Yeah, like people would think that, you know what I mean, but I think we were good squad in there, and we were on it back really well. You know, we had a bad defeat on Thursday this season, we bounced back really well, and we've defeated since today. So, look, I think we bounced back really well, and next Friday just one of the really important games now.
Yeah, and obviously, in terms of the First Division itself, it's, you know, turning out to be a bit of a mental league. You know, obviously Shells are beaten last night, Bray are beaten, Athlone were beaten, obviously they won their first 3 games of the season as well. How do you see maybe things playing out in the next few weeks? Obviously it's just topsy-turvy the whole way through.
Yeah, it's a mad league, it really is. I mean, anybody can beat anybody. If people are saying Shells and Bray are going to walk in the start of the season, but you know, the so-called lower teams have proved themselves now, and especially just we're going to be right up there towards the end of the season, so lower teams as well.
Yeah, and I suppose in terms of obviously looking ahead to next week, I'll let you go in a few seconds. Obviously it's home against Galway. Michael the Egan's going to be here. It's going to be a great occasion for the club. You must be, I suppose, looking forward to bouncing back after today's defeat.
Yeah, again, next week is after today's tournament, a massively important game for us. And you know, we've moved less than 3 months, so it means to bounce back and obviously we're the game we're after them.
Perfect. Pat, what do you make of the game?
Very disappointed, to be quite honest with you. We didn't perform as well as we can. You know, the pitch is really poor, but you can't blame the pitch. The pitch is the same for both teams. We performed badly. We made a dreadful mistake with the first goal. We get back into the game 1-1. We miss chance after chance. We get a penalty. We miss the penalty. And then one of the biggest blunders you'll see all year, Stephen makes, and he's very reliable and he makes a mistake. So it wasn't our day. That's it. Simple as that.
Yeah. And I suppose maybe obviously the penalty save itself, do you think maybe that changed the game in any sense?
Oh no, missing the penalty definitely changed the game. I mean, we were well on top of that stage. We got bullied a little bit by them, you know, the experienced side, but you know, I thought we done quite well to get back into the game. We were very disappointed in the first half, got back into the game, and we were sort of taking over, and heads dropped a little bit when we missed the penalty. But the mistakes that were made for the second goal, were all down to ourselves. It wasn't down to Limerick at all. Jack Watson missed the clearance, it flicked up, someone else missed another one and it was cleared. Then it came back in and Stephen called for the ball and he didn't get it. That's the way it was. He didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, and obviously, I suppose your sides are maybe famed for their defensive organisation at times. Was that maybe disappointing in the manner you conceded the goals?
Well, you know, we have a lot of players out injured. A lot of players injured from last week, and we put a lot of made a few changes today, which we had to, and that's why you have squads. And look, you can be really cruel on players, but today we threw it away, completely threw it away. I wouldn't want to be disrespectful to Limerick. They came here and you got a result, and fair to us. And sometimes you play really well and you don't get a result. Sometimes you play very, very bad and you get a result. Today it was not our day, and we were punished. And you know, we just had to take it on the chin and bounce back.
Yeah, and obviously on Limerick themselves, obviously, you know, maybe Robbie Williams in particular had an absolute storm of a game, we thought. What did you make of maybe them defensively towards the end of the game when you were putting the pressure on?
Well, I think Robbie Williams definitely was the man of the match, and that says it all. He bossed everybody around the place. He showed his experience, and well done. I was just disappointed that we didn't put away our chances, and we didn't cut out the mistakes. The mistakes that we made were horrendous. I mean, to lose 3 points here today is unforgivable. You know, it just wasn't good enough, and the lads know it. I mean, they didn't go out on purpose to perform like that, but at the same time, you know, you give credit and you give out the bouquets when people do well. And last week up in Drogheda, they were fantastic. And this week, for some strange reason, we didn't take our chances and we gave them 2 goals. Now, how can you win a game if you're giving 2 goals away and on the other hand, you're missing penalties?
Yeah, do you think that's maybe down to experience?
Well, we're a very young side in the overall context. If you match it up there with Limerick today, they would have been, you know, they have a very experienced side. But that's an excuse. You know, I remember once when someone saying you need experience. Well, how do you get experience? Playing in games like this, learning that you don't make mistakes, doing the simple thing. You know, the pitch does not help anybody, either team. But at the same time, they stuck to their task and they got their 3 points, and fair play to them.
And look, before I let you go, obviously looking ahead, it's against Galway this week or this Friday night. Obviously, it's going to be a big occasion. Michael D. Higgins is going to be here. Must be looking forward to it.
I'm not, no, because I was looking forward to today and I was saying, well, wouldn't it be lovely if we finished the weekend on top of the table? And we didn't. So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care who's coming next week. All we have to do is concentrate on the football side of it and get on with it. Of course, we respect the man. And of course we respect what is happening around the club, but the focus must purely for us be on getting 3 points and playing well at home. And unfortunately, I hope the pitch is a bit better and it certainly, you know, gets rolled and it's not as bumpy, but at this moment when the pitch is my biggest worry.
Tommy, you must be delighted with that result.
Yeah, delighted, Andrew. I felt, you know, it's a difficult place to come. The pitch is difficult. We did really well. I thought we created most of the chances. But, you know, in saying that, Cabinteely could have scored a couple as well, so really happy, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you just mentioned the pitch there, it's, you know, quite testing at times. What did you make of it yourself? Obviously, you know, it came under a lot of criticism after the Longford game. Personally, from looking at it today, what do you make of it?
Yeah, it's in poor condition, you know, but look, our pitch isn't great either, so I can't really slander anyone's pitch. But it is poor, you know. In fairness, I don't think it suits Cabinteely either, you know. It doesn't suit anyone, that pitch. You know, you can't take a touch, the ball and everything. You know, it's a difficult pitch to play on. But as I said, 2 teams have to play this. You know, it's easy to say when you win probably, but you know, you just have to play the conditions. You just have to get on with it, and that's what we're doing up here. And that's what we did last week at home, even against Grove. So, you know, pitches are difficult this time of year, unfortunately, and you know, we need to address that and get them better. But you know, that pitch is a lot better this summer, and you know, I'm sure they'll work on it.
Yeah, and obviously on the game itself today, obviously that's what we're here to talk about. Obviously there was a lot of very, very good performances. Robbie Williams in particular, impressed. How happy were you with his performance?
Delighted with Robbie, yeah, all season, you know, and I could tell Kieran that as well, because I know he doesn't fancy him too much, but look, he's in good shape. He's a leader for us. He's been really good, you know. But look, the back four were solid, and Jack, we created a lot of chances. I felt, you know, we could have been at least 2 up before Cabinteely equalised, and even in the second half, they threw a few balls in the box near the end, and we, you know, a few long throws are difficult to defend against. But you know, overall, I thought we created the most chances, and we tested our keeper more. So I felt we deserved the win there.
And obviously the penalty save from Jack, obviously, you know, it was coming at a time of the game when Cabinteely were kind of, you know, asserting their dominance on proceedings. How important in terms of, I suppose, in terms of, you know, swinging the game in your favour was that moment?
Yeah, well, as I said, I thought we were on top in the first half in particular. Like they had 10 minutes where they scored in the end of the first half, but we were creating on the chances before that. We had the most territory, I felt. The second half, okay, the first maybe 10 minutes of the second half, they probably had a bit more than us with regards to territory, but because they were playing more direct as well. And that's all you can play out on that pitch. You know, it's not a possession game pitch, you know, like a lot of pitches this time of year, but you know, I felt, I'm not so sure it swung it too much because, you know, it was a great save and he did brilliantly, but I felt that we were always in the game, and if not always in it, we were in top, certainly in regards to chances, you know, created.
Yeah, and obviously last week, I don't know if you were reading too much into the press speculation, but there was maybe a lot of talk around Limerick that Limerick were in crisis. Obviously now you're only 1 point off the top of the table. That must feel pretty good after last week.
Yeah, I didn't realise there was talk about speeding crisis, to be honest. No, look, we've got a good group of young lads and a good mix of experience in young lads, and they work very hard for each other, and you know, we've some very good footballers. But it's a difficult league, you know. We have to go. Alone have to come to us next week, and it's another game, and we just take it game by game. And I know it's a cliche, everyone says that, but that's literally what we're doing. You know, we're not talking about playoff spots, and we're not talking about winning leagues or anything like that, but we're just going to take it game by game and see where it takes us.
And look, before I let you go, because you just mentioned the Athlone game next week, are you expecting a difficult game against Terry Butler's side? Obviously, they just lost the El Clasico last night.
Yeah, we were up with it last night. Dave Rooney was up, and you know, we saw that it was you know, they're a really difficult team to play against, and they've done brilliantly this year, and you know, there's some really good players. So like any game in this league, it's difficult, but we give it our best shot.
Chance you won't lose the game. But when you walk like that and you press like that and then you have the added bits of quality, there's a great chance you'll win it. But the key factor there is without the ball, you walk like that and you press and you win your individual battles and you don't take silly chances and you just go about your business, you have a great chance. And hopefully they learn something here tonight. But obviously, you know, I could be talking to you next week now, I'll be down in the dumps and I'll be going, you know, I'll go for a few points and very sad.
Stephen, without trying to single out players and stuff like that, but the two centre halves, Charlie Lyons and Ben O'Riordan tonight, were exceptional.
I thought the back four in general were brilliant. Stevie Christopher, you know, we've been looking to try and put Stevie into a right back because I think that's right. I think he's brilliant that when he faces the play, he really sees it. And I think what you noticed tonight, I actually didn't realise how quick Stevie Christopher was without the ball. You know, I couldn't agree with you more in terms of the balls coming down top of us against the best striker in the division. Both Charlie Lyons and Ben O'Riordan. Momentum won it, one covered in behind it, two full backs, textbook stuff that we didn't do against Limerick and got punished for. We done it here tonight, and you know, they were exceptional. But during the one, yeah, two ways, two centre halves, back four. Look at the whole lot of them were fantastic.
Yeah, and Denzel Fernandez, I thought was outstanding. I said, you know, he showed kind of the potential that he has when he can be a real menace.
Right, you know that, I know that, you know that, and you know that. The only person who doesn't understand that is Denzel Fernandez. And when Denzel starts believing in himself, he will be a sensational footballer. He's a lad, I love him to bits. I had to hug him at the end of the match. I couldn't shake hands with him, I had to hug him because I love him to bits. And he's a super talent. But sometimes he doesn't believe that. And when Denzel starts believing in himself and he takes all his pace, he's strong, you wouldn't believe how strong he is. He's really quick, he's a great crosser of the ball. Like, the pitch done him a few times here tonight. But I think Denzel should be scoring more goals, and there's more goals in him. When he starts believing in himself, he'll be a superstar. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. And I think you were saying about hoping to the great performance to try to do it maybe on a consistent basis. But do you think this is the result that will kind of just jolt your kind of league campaign to it?
We said that after Wexford. Look where that left me. So look at, not going anywhere near that, right? What we're saying is, honest to God, we're just taking it a match at a time. We have to. We can't afford to say, look how.